Welcome back to our show. The topic for today is characteristics of a hypocrite. Let's look up according to Webster Dictionary what the definition of a hypocrite is. Okay, according to Merriam-Webster, a hypocrite is a person who puts on a false appearance of virtue or religion. Definition number one. Definition number two, a person who acts in contradiction to his or her stated beliefs or feelings. You know how we go to the masjid sometimes and listen to khutbah? Most of the time, the person who does the khutbah, he practices what he preaches. And there's other times where you're listening, you're like, he's telling me this, but after he leaves the masjid, he doesn't apply what he's telling me. That is not a good example for our community. That's why it's important that when we teach something to our community, that we follow along with it and practice it. The Prophet, may the peace and blessings be upon him, had said, a hypocrite is a person who, when he speaks, he lies. When he makes a promise, he doesn't fulfill it. And when he's entrusted with something, he betrays. He betrays the person. I have an example of a situation where a person may be classified as a hypocrite, and Allah knows best. There was this old lady, she had a stroke. She had 3 sons and I believe 3 daughters. She was in her 70s, so she had a stroke. Her son went to, all her sons, they promised her that they would take care of her at her old age. She had a property underneath her name. The sons told her, let's put it underneath our name, because at that time, when they were younger, their father had divorced her, and that was a gift to her. It was they put underneath her name. Her ex-husband had put land underneath her name, and then her sons were, after he remarried, the father remarried, the sons told her, put the land underneath our name, the property, because we're afraid that our stepmother might take the land. Okay, she was fine with that because they told her that they would take care of her, they wouldn't take her land from her, the property from her. She entrusted them, and they went against Islam. So they spoke, when they spoke, they lied about what they told her that they would do. And when they promised her, they didn't fulfill that promise. And when she entrusted them with putting her property underneath her name in hopes that they would take care of her and know her best interests, they betrayed her. So he goes around and he says that to his brother to make an elevator for his mother-in-law, but he won't go and make construction that's needed in her bathroom because she's in a wheelchair, to make it easier for her to go to take a shower. And when her daughters pay out of their own money, and they say they want to make those changes in her bathroom, what do their brothers say? Those same brothers, we're not gonna let you make any changes to the bathroom. Why? Because you're gonna try to take from the house. That's so ridiculous. Or one of the other brothers tells, these same brothers took the inheritance from their sisters. So one of these brothers, like I said before, he went and he told, one of the 3 brothers, he told a brother in Islam, that you're supposed to give to your sister's inheritance, because that's according to Islam. That's the right, according to Islam. And what do? They go against Islam, and they they take the land that's entitled to their sisters and put underneath their names, and they don't allow them to take their share. Not only that, but they don't take care of their mother. She's in a wheelchair, confined to a wheelchair, because she has a stroke. And they take her land, they tell her, we'll take care of you. So she wrote up the rest of the land to them in hopes that trusting them that they would take care of her in her old ages. They didn't do that. And then what did they tell her to even hurt her? these hypocrites. They tell her, you see the land that we have? This land never belonged to you. Can't imagine what that old lady, that sister, how hurt she was when she heard that. Allah serves justice for us. That's all I have to say about that. But I need to read something in Surah about making a promise and breaking it, which is what those brothers did, and which we, Muslimin, will not take an example of doing. We will do what is right and what is in the boundaries of Islam and what Allah has taught us and our Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him. In Surah Al-Ma'idah says, "O you who believe, fulfill your obligations." That is Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 1. That is what those brothers didn't do. And what we will follow. And Surah An-Nisa, it talks about hypocrites. Verse 142 speaks about hypocrites, and verse 142. Since we're short on time, we'll go on to read verse 1, 142, and Surah An-Nisa, as well as 142. We'll go ahead and read 142. Verily the hypocrites seek to deceive Allah, but it is He who deceives them. And when they stand up for a salah, they stand with laziness, and to be seen of men, and they do not remember Allah but little. Okay, I'm missing one thing. Okay, I think, okay, being true, another verse. Surah At-Tawbah, verse 119. I'm going to read the English, I'll leave the Arabic to you. O you who believe, be afraid of Allah, and be with those who are true, the parentheses, in words and deeds. So, when you hear that, we need to practice what we preach. Even in the masjid, when the khatib makes, the lecturer, makes a speech, he needs to practice what he preaches. And we need to be true with what we say and not be hypocrites, because we're showing, if we become hypocrites, we're showing the non-Muslim community as well as our Muslim community a wrong model. Just one correction I need to make, and then a final statement. I shouldn't have said the old lady, because she's the older Muslim sister, and for respect for her, I want to say I should have said the Muslim older sister. Then they decided to bring her to America to show off to the people, hey, I'm taking care of our mother. And then when she came to America, they let her stay in their homes maybe 1-2 days, and then most of the time, I believe, and Allah knows best, she was in a nursing home. I had heard that she was in a nursing home, put in a nursing home, and that her own kids, she was in a nursing home alone, and their kids wouldn't even call her up. Days would go by where she wouldn't hear from some of her kids, her sons that took her property, which she entrusted in them, which they promised to take care of her. And Allah knows best if they will be classified as hypocrites, as I'm not a judge. I'm not to judge for that. I will not be the judge of whether or not they are hypocrites. But Allah knows best, and the main point is that when you practice something, when you try to preach something to someone, you gotta practice it. Because if you don't, you're a hypocrite. And I'll leave you with this ayah. Surah An-Nisa, ayah number 138. I'll leave the Arabic to you, and English says the following: give to the hypocrites the tidings that there is for them a painful torment. So practice what you preach, because if you don't, you're a hypocrite. Till next time.